Good morning. Today is Tuesday, November the 7th. The time right now in Kuala Lumpur is 11:06 in the morning. And overnight, we have very little market activity because there was no major economic news released yesterday. The highlight for this week will be various Fed officials that will be speaking, including the Fed chairman, who will be speaking tomorrow and the day after. So I believe more market participants will be looking forward to what he has to say and to try to see if among his languages that he talked about, whether it contains any kind of policy change, whether there's any clue as to whether the Fed will continue to hike one more time before the year end, or what is going to be like going to 2024. So that will be the highlight for this week itself. So overnight, the market is pretty quiet. We can see the Dow Jones Industrial Average remains elevated. Last Friday, on the back of non-farm payroll, on the back of a lower than expected numbers, we can see equity market rose on the expectation that the Federal Reserve may actually cut rates going into 2024. So that was the enthusiasm that we saw last week, which we saw the Dow Jones going up higher to 34,167.26. Overnight, we have a marginal high compared to last Friday, but it's only marginal. Prices right now is stuck within this bracket of prices between 33,850 to 34,145, 147 level. So we want to watch how market reacts. Yes, market did actually take out the upper end of this boundary marginally, but on a close basis, this boundary of prices actually contains the rally that we saw the whole of entire last week. So this week will be very, very interesting how the market will react, whether it will extend higher or whether it will come under heavy profit taking. In the S&P 500, we saw the same activity. The climb from 4,103 to 4,373.6 overnight is actually very, very steep. So this does appear to be supporting the idea that we could see higher prices in the days ahead. So if we do get a pullback, I would reckon that somewhere between the 4,270 to 4,309, I think that will be an area to watch for some kind of retracement levels. And if you believe that this market has still further upside to go, perhaps gunning for 4,500 points, then perhaps buying is the way to do it. Okay, and over the Nasdaq 100, we also saw a very steep rise from 14,000 levels all the way to 15,180. So this is a very, very steep move. And overnight, we have a marginal high. So let's see again if the market do experience a pullback somewhere between 14,900 to 14,750 could be the area where I think the market may retrace to, so that you can actually build a base here to see if it have enough momentum to propel all the way to challenge the 16,000 levels. Now over in Asia, things are looking a little bit less optimistic. We can see that the Nikkei 225 yesterday we have a high of 32,770. This is basis the futures contract here. So there was that break of a swing higher at 32,660 points, and this suggests that there is going to be follow through buying. But this morning we didn't see that. The market actually is coming down as we are speaking. Currently it's trading at 32,380. So there's a very good chance it will go into this bracket of prices somewhere between 32,200 to 31,850. Okay, so do look out for a pullback into this area. If it coming down in a very corrective manner, maybe that will be a great place to pick up long position. However, if the decline steepen, then could be looking at something else altogether. So be very careful as what we are doing in this bracket of prices. Don't just buy blindly. Look at the structure of the move. Okay, and over in Hong Kong, Hong Kong is also coming off very much in line with what's happening in Tokyo. So we can see the high traded overnight was 18,072 in the futures contract, and the Hang Seng Index currently is trading at 17,763. So it has the same kind of move as we are seeing in the Nikkei 225. So perhaps both are linked to the same event or news that drive this market. So right now, I have no idea what is driving the market to pull back, but by looking at both Asia market, we can see that will give you an inkling as to what may actually happen in on Wall Street when it opens tonight. And over in the currencies, we can see that the dollar index do have a bit of a bounce from overnight low of 104.85. Okay, so we can see that this bracket of prices missed this area which I last mentioned yesterday at 104.56 to 104.80. So we miss it by about lousy 5 points before the market rebound this morning to 105.33. So this rebound possibly will be kept around 105.90 to 106.30. So upside is going to be quite limited for now. So if you believe that this move down from 107 is not over yet, maybe you can position a short around this area. Okay, I think the dollar seems to have a bit of a corrective pullback currently as we are speaking. Now, the euro versus the dollar, obviously, when the dollar starts to rally, the euro dollar will have to come back down. So yesterday, I did mention 107.32 to 107.52, and the high overnight was 107.56. So it broke the higher band just by 4 pips, and the market is coming back right now. So again, I do expect this move to continue to trade higher in the coming days. So the level to catch this euro dollar will be somewhere, I believe, around 106.10 to 106.35. So if you also have the same idea, this could be a good area to position long, okay, which I think I'll be looking at as well. In the sterling, similarly to what we see in the euro versus the dollar, the sterling peaked at 124.28 overnight within this bracket of prices at about 123.75 to 124.21. So again, it broke the upper end of this boundary by 7 pips. So we can see that there is definitely some kind of selling interest here. So prices, if you do pull back, could either fall into 122.60 or go down deeper to 121.86 to 122.15 levels. In the Aussie market is pulling back, and I think this one is looking like a potential five wave structure. So the area to actually participate in the Aussie versus the dollar is, I believe, around 0.64 to 0.6435. So I'm still bullish on the Aussie dollars. So this could be an area in which I will be more than happy to take up a long position. Over in the dollar versus the yen, overnight we can see that the dollar yen rebounded, but I think this rebound is going to be quite limited. I believe somewhere around 150.23 to 150.55. I think that's where it will be contained. So if you believe this pullback from 150, 170 is not done yet, which I do not believe is done yet. So I think this is a great area to actually position short for another leg of this decline from 150, 171, targeting perhaps as low as 147.30 to 147.60 levels. So this is actually my target, although there is an equality relationship here between 148.65 to 148.20, but I think this is more likely to be the case, the lower end of 147, right? And in the dollar versus Canadian, the dollar rebound is also seen clearly in the dollar Canadian chart here. Now, the low traded last time is 136.29, is just marginally about maybe 5 pips away from the ideal place to actually buy. I remember yesterday I did mention this level at 135.69 to 136.24. So the low at 136.29 actually misses this area just by a few pips, and the market is on the rebound now. But again, I do not believe the dollar's correction is over yet. So in the dollar Canadian, I do suspect some kind of selling interest to re-emerge from around 137.36 to 137.60 area. Now let's move on to precious metals. In the gold market, we can see gold continue to pull back. The high traded 2 weeks ago at $2,009.56, and last Friday on the back of non-farm payroll, we can see the gold market actually challenged the 2,000 levels one more time with a high of $2,004 before it pulls back down. And that was the area in which I actually went short, and I have the privilege of actually selling at the very top here last Friday. But yesterday I had decided to buy back my position because I want to stay net long rather than to scalp this market. So I think the next buying opportunity is going to present itself very, very soon, perhaps even today. It's going to be anywhere between $1,964.50 to as low as $1,945.30. So I believe this entire range of prices are possibility of position long. So let's say if you're not sure which level, maybe you can break up your entry into two. I will probably do the same thing. I will probably put my first entry at $1,964.50, and I hope to buy even cheaper at around $1,955 or thereabout. Okay. In the silver market, we see the same thing, but silver currently is stuck within a trading range, bounded by $22.35 to $23.70. So in the meantime, I think this boundary is going to be capping the movements in the silver prices. So anywhere between the lower end at $23.36 to $22.50 is a buy area. Anything above at $23.40 to $23.65 are selling areas. And let's move on to crude oil. Now, crude oil continued to lose ground. Yesterday, this round we can see last Friday, prices of crude oil, basis the West Texas Intermediate, what we call WTI crude oil, they traded to a low of $80.07 per barrel. Now, this is not a futures contract, this is based on the spot prices. So we can see that this area between $79.31 to $80.80 is where we are right now, could actually hold this market. But I do believe there is a little bit more to the downside. Hopefully, I can see prices as low as 76 cents. That will be a much better area to buy, because that will be equality move from a high of $94 or rather $95. So we can see this three-wave down move here, targeting about $76 thereabout. So I think that will be a much area to actually position long. Now, to round it off, I want to talk about Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin has been very sidelined right now. The high traded at 36,000 or just under 36,000 happened last Thursday, and since then the market has gone flat. Okay, so by and large, you can see the momentum is still favoring the upside, but I do suspect it's going to be a pullback. A pullback, maybe as shallow as a retest of this level at $33,260, or as deep as $30,000. So either way, it's just lower to buy in my opinion, because the upside potential for Bitcoin for now is likely to be in the vicinity of 38,000 to even a high of 40,000. Okay, so I'm still relatively bullish on the Bitcoin going forward. So in the meantime, this is all I have for you, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye bye. Take care.